I welcome you all to this session of online Bhagavad Gita from Arshavidya Gurukulam and with the interest from a Hindu temple of Allentown. And we are looking into chapter 4 of the Gita. And we successfully completed 15 shlokas so far. And today we are going to continue with the 16th shloka, where Bhagavan is talking regarding karma and the technicalities, the details of karma. Karma means karma yoga. And last week we saw Bhagavan is asking Arjuna. What is he asking Arjuna? Evam nyatva kritam karma purvairapi mukshabhihi kuru karma eva tasmatvam. Hey Arjuna, kuru karma eva tasmat tvam. May you take up to a life of activity because of all the reasons which Bhagavan has told before. And especially knowing yourself, knowing myself. Bhagavan says knowing myself. Bhagavan himself to be ajanma, having birthless, hence deathless, and also free from all karma. Knowing me, Bhagavan is saying knowing himself like that, Arjuna should give up his, I would say, strong sense of dislike for not performing what he needs to perform. So, and Bhagavan is giving a guidance. Purvairapi. Previously also, Arjuna, you are not the only one. There has been several kings before and who have all taken up to karma with all the knowledge and have been very successful. They've been great role models, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna wants to see Arjuna also as a great role model. And in fact, Bhagavan wants to Arjuna, all of us, to see all of us as great role models in performing activity, in being very successful, at the same time very spiritual. So that is why Bhagavan is saying, Purvataram, Purvai, like your ancestors, you also continue doing. Bhagavan says, now we are entering into the shloka number 16. So there can be a question. Arjuna can always ask Bhagavan. He is not asking, but he can always ask, hey Bhagavan, and you just have to ask me to do karma. Why do you complicate things by asking me to follow what my ancestors have been doing? How am I supposed to know all the details? And hence, it's so easy to just do rather than do it properly, right? So that's what Arjuna is, I think intending. Let me do something. You ask me to do something, I'll do it for you. And when you say Purvai, like my ancestors and before that and all that, and that begs for more clarification. And why is so karma? What is so special about karma? What is so special about action? Performing action in a certain way. And so that is what is called vihita karma, right? Vihita karma. And so why would I have to look up to my ancestors, my elders, to perform in this age and time? Can be Arjuna's question. And Bhagavan's intent was, you are here not ready to do anything. So may you look up your ancestors and be inspired and make it easy on you. Because yourself, Arjuna, you want to be a mumukshu. At the same time, you're a great warrior. So you are a very unique example, right? Likewise, we want to, be in this world, accomplish everything. At the same time, we want to be spiritual. You want to be dharmic. So this is a very, very, very different kind of a combination, right? So Bhagavan is saying to Arjuna, because of this situation, it has to be, your path has to be made easier. So just you have to look up to the elders and keep going forward. And because if you don't, you may be performing something, but then there's always this question, why should I be doing this? Why not I just sit back, relax, and do nothing? And why should I do only this way and not the other way? What am I going to get out of this action? These questions, in some form or the other, would keep coming again and again. So the Brahmastra for all this is, look at your ancestors, look at your shastra, look at your elders, and just perform the same way. This is lacking now. People don't look up to their parents. People don't look up to their, say, grandparents. And even in spiritual life, this is quite will be very revealing. If we go back and look at how our parents were doing a certain puja, how are we doing? We may be having more wealth, but are we doing it the same? Are we able to do? Are we able to get the same result, same quality like our ancestors did, like our parents did, like our grandparents did? And they all pick up this information or that information from online, and then they come up with a new way. They would say, this is the way Navaratri has to be celebrated. I found this. There is no need for kolu. You have to have all deepa, all lamps instead of that. This is how ancestors used to do, and all that. They come up with all these different ways, but they never look up to even their own parents or ancestors, see how they have been doing a certain thing, right? That is a tradition. Let us see. That open mind towards one's own ancestors, elders, sometimes is missing. So that really helps in us it makes our path easier. And that is what Bhagavan is trying to bring up in a way in this shloka number 16. So may you all be with me while I am chanting the shloka. Kim karma kimakarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yajñatva mokshyase shubhat. Here also Bhagavan is making a big statement, right? Yajñatva, last part of the shloka. Yajñatva mokshyase ashubhat. From all the ashubha, from all the afflictions of samsara, mokshyase, Arjuna, you'll be free. While performing, you'll be totally free. That kind of a beautiful pratigna statement Bhagavan is making just by knowing kim karma. What is work? Atra kim karma. What is action? What is giving? What is taking up to activity? Kim akarma. What does it mean? Here, action means what? Action means what is to be done. What is to be taken to activity, and also it's about what is to be done, right? Kima karma, and here kima karma is. So what does it mean to not perform action? And does it mean just simply sitting quietly, or does it involve the mind also? So what does it involve? Not performing action in these areas. Kavayaha, even the kavayahas or kranta darshi, one who can see things clearly, not just here and now. They're able to see something clearly, even about the future. So even about the future, those who can see so clearly, even those people, kavayaha, atra api mohitaha, even they are confused when it comes to karma, akarma, when it comes to what is to be done and what it means what does actionlessness mean in all these areas. Tat karma te pravakshyami. So Arjuna, I am going to pravakshyami. I'm going to tell you clearly all in these areas. I'm going to throw so much light in this area, you'll come out so crystal clear. Yajñātva, knowing this, Yajñātva Ashubhat. Ashubha here is samsarat. Samsara, when we say samsara, we are talking regarding the afflictions of samsara. Afflictions of samsara. So samsara, people, what is samsara? They say, samsara is a cycle, they say, right? Cycle of coming and going, they say. Am I right? So coming and going, they say, coming and going of as what? Coming and going as a jiva. That is really, may not be the real problem. But while living, all that going won't be a problem. And some people usually, the people around are unhappy when someone goes, not that person. And then coming also, we don't know, there's so much pain, they say, but we just come. Once we are born, we don't feel the pain. But afflictions or all the shoka and moha, shoka, raga, dvesha, all those sorrowful situations and all that thing which is happening because of our sambandha, that sense of bondage, that samsara you'll be free from. Bhagavan is saying to Arjuna. So I think I've given somewhat of a word meaning now, right? So I'll just make a translation here. I'll read the translation. Even the seers, scholars are confused with reference to what is action, what is actionlessness. I shall tell you about action. Bhagavan is saying, knowing which you'll be released from what is inauspicious, what is all afflictions. You'll be released from all afflictions of shoka. Right? So Bhagavan here says what? That Kavayaha, right? The Kavayaha word, as I told you, Kranta Darshi. But Kavayaha here, Bhagavan Bhashyakara says Medhavinaha, who are having the Medha, having an excellent memory of the past and also have a vision of the future. So they know exactly, they have got the entire database. But still they're confused. To make an inquiry, they have everything in their mind, but they could also be confused. Buddhiman. Okay, so mohitaha means moha, they will also moh ko prapt karte hain. So what is the moha? What is the hetu? What is the cause for the moha? So no, the cause for why would Arjuna be taught by Bhagavan? What is the reason why Arjuna has to be told about all these things? Because the reason is even the kavaya, even the wise scholars are confused, Arjuna, what to talk about you. So may you please listen to what I'm going to say regarding karma and akarma, action and actionlessness. So that is Bhagavan's statement to make Arjuna be focused on what he has to say. Yajñātva. So what is the prayojana? Prayojana is told in the end, right? Knowing this, prayojana means what is the use of knowing? Knowing this, yajñātva mokshyasya ashubhat. This is the power of knowledge. Knowledge can release you from the afflictions of samsara. Tatte karma pravakshyami here. Second line, tatte karma pravakshyami is there. Whereas first Bhagavan says, kim karma, kim akarma. I'll tell you both karma and akarma. But in the second line, Bhagavan says, tatte karma pravakshyami. I'll talk to you regarding karma. But we should also take, Bhagavan is going to talk to Arjuna regarding actionlessness also, akarma also. All these are some details I want to fill in. And before we go to the next shloka. Right, so we are going to the next shloka here. Next shloka 17. Bhagavan is Bhashyakara. Shankaracharya Maharaj is raising his own question. And even the wise men might be confused, but it is also very common. This karma, akarma, what it is very commonly known. What is known? Dehadi cheshta. I'm doing an action. I'm just raising my hand, for example, right? Dehadi cheshta, I'm speaking. So dehadi cheshta is karma. All the activities involving the deha, involving the body, where there is some movement, physical movement, that is called karma. That is well known. And what is akarma? Sitting quietly is akarma. So I'm just telling you how people can still say, we all know what is karma and what is akarma. So, right? Here, sitting quietly, we can take it as anyone would know, anyone would take that as akarma. Why are you sitting quietly? To go do something, they tell, right? So this is known, and what is there to kimat tatra bodhavyam? See, bodhavyam was told. Where was it told? The previous not in the previous sloka. It has to be known. Bodhavyam means to be known. So what is there to be known more than knowing this much, that dehadi cheshta is karma and tushnim, sitting quietly, is akarma? More than this, what is there to be known regarding karma and akarma? चुपचाप बैठना है तो अकर्म कर रहा है, कोई कुछ कर्म नहीं कर रहे हैं, और थोड़ा चेष्टा बॉडी को, देह को हिला रहा है तो कर्म हो रहा है. So like that, this question can be there. I mean, in the sense, this is just an entry point for us to go to the next sloka and see what more our Bhagavan Sri Krishna has to talk regarding karma, akarma, and etc. So let me read the sloka. Sloka 17, 4th chapter. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. Karma ka gati, the ways of karma, gahana. So there's some depth to it in understanding. We have to increase our depth of understanding. So there's a depth required. Gahana, it is deeper than what we just see and say. Karmanaha api bodhavyam asti. I'm just rearranging the words in the shloka so you can see that, you can see the meaning. As I'm rearranging, you might be able to see the meaning. Karmanaha api bodhavyam asti. Karmanaha bodhavyam asti. Vikarmanaha. Look at this. We have introduced a new term with regards to karma. What is that? Vikarmaha. Vikarmaha is what? So karmaha, we know all the vihita karma, to be done activities. Vikarmaha, we have to take it as nishiddha karma, those that should not be done. Right? Many times we have confusion. And someone keeps on saying, do this, do that, and this, and whatnot. And you want to find out what all the karma I should not be doing. Right? That is the complete knowledge. When you come to go to a certain place now, wear a mask and wash your hands, and all those to do also is they give, and not to do also they give. Don't put your hand, bring your hand to the face, all these things, right? So to do and what not to do. Vikarmaha is what not to do. That also bodhavyam, that also has to be clear, to be known. Then akarmanaha cha bodhavyam. Akarma, what does it mean? What does actionlessness mean? That also has to be clear. Because Arjuna wants to become actionless, right? Well, he doesn't want to do wrong actions, and he also wants to take up to a life of sannyasa, which he thinks is a life of no activity, right? So that also has to be clear. Akarmanaha cha bodhavyam asti. Hi karmanaha gatihi gahana. So the gati of karma, the ways of karma, the nature of karma is difficult to understand. It has got some depth. It's not easy to understand. So now I'll just translate this verse for you. Action enjoined by the scriptures is also to be known. Forbidden action and actionlessness must also be known. This is because the nature of karma is so difficult to understand. This is the nature of karma is so difficult to understand. Sometimes they say, don't eat this vegetable, don't eat that vegetable, don't eat potatoes, don't eat peppers, don't eat tomatoes. Then you'll always ask the question, what can I eat? If everything is in the don't eat list, what is there in the list of what I can enjoy? So everything should be covered. Okay. So now, as you know, after translating the shloka, I will just dribble into the bhashya of Shankaracharya Maharaj. I'm not reading the bhashya. I'm just looking at the highlights. So karmanaha shastra vihita. So karmanaha, action, activity is always shastra vihita. In the sense, as our Puja Swamiji Maharaj, Dayananda Saraswati Maharaj would say, taking up the actions, what needs to be done according to all the roles you take in your life. Role of a professional, role of a husband, role of a wife, role of a father, mother, parent, son, daughter, right? On all these roles, what needs to be done is the Vihita karma. So that is a Shastra Vihita karma that we need to know. Bodhavyam is a very strong word, not just knowing, to understand it thoroughly. Asti eva. Then we have to know Tushnim bhavasya akarmanahasya Tushnim bhavasya bodhavyam asti iti. So everything asti, asti, asti. Karma bodhavyam asti. Vikarma bodhavyam asti. Akarma bodhavyam asti. All right. So then in the second line, Gahana karmano gatihi. Right. So Gahana, again, Gahana karmano gatihi. Gahana vikarmano gatihi. Gahana akarmano gatihi. You can also bring that. So just all these three are areas to be inquired, as Puja Swamiji would say. Inquired for what? For the sake of what? For the sake of yathatmya tattva darshanam. To know as is, what it is as is. Okay, to remove the fluff, at the same time to remove, go deeper than a layman's understanding, we need to clearly see what this is all means. These are all the topics we need to dwell upon. So that is why Bhagavan is saying Madhiyam Pravachanam. So that is why Bhagavan is saying, I'm going to go into talking a little bit, a lot about this karma area. And you will see the next shloka is a very popular shloka for the same reason. And Bhashyakara, Bhagavan Shankaracharya Maharaj is going pages after pages with his Bhashyam. We are going to get the juice, essence of the Bhashyam while we are looking at the next shloka. So with this, I'm just stepping into the next shloka. We'll see how far we can go. Right? So here, the next shloka is number 18. Okay, what is this tattvam? Bodhavyam, what is the tattvam? Okay, go ahead. Talk to me regarding the tattva of this karma. So for that, this next shloka is there. Karman yakarma yah pashyet akarmani cha karma yah sabuddhiman manushyeshu sayukta kritsna karma krit. Right? Now, yah karmanya karma yah pashyet, right? Take the yah, that is a subject in the statement. Yah, whosoever. Karmani, whosoever are jnaninam, jnanis. Karmani akarma pashyet. Whosoever, all those jnanis who can see in karma. Karmani is karmani. The ni means it is the Saptami artha, right? Karmani, in karma, akarma, in karma, akarma, pashyet. Whoever the jnani were able to see actionlessness in action. Then यह अज्ञानिनाम अकर्मणि च कर्म बीजम पश्येत. So अकर्मणि च कर्म. So यह again ज्ञानी akarmani, in akarma cha karma pashyet, who is able to see karma in akarma. So the second part of the shloka is one who is able to see action in actionlessness. And then what about this? It's a very, first of all, it looks a very contradicting understanding. And what about that person? Why are you calling him jnani? Bhagavan is saying, Saha manushyeshu buddhiman. He is jnani because he has understood it. He has understood everything properly. Buddhiman. And he is yukta also. He is the one who has got the, he is a yogi. Yukta means he is a yogi. And he is a kritsna karma krit also. He has done everything that needs to be done. He is a yogi. He is a buddhiman of the, of the real intellect. Real intelligence, he has a real intelligence, and also he has accomplished everything that needs to be accomplished. So the one who sees actionlessness in action and action in actionlessness is wise among human beings. That person is a yogi who has done everything that is to be done. This is the person we want to be. But unless we understand, how will we even appreciate these statements, right? So, karmani, the ni is there. As I told you, ni is what? In karma, right? The preposition in English is in. In karma, if you put the in the back, it will become karman in or karmani. So that is the karmani. But in English also, we use this in a different way also, right? That is called Vishaya Saptami. How do we use? In a given context, right? We say in a given context. That we always say. So it's not necessarily, the preposition in is not necessarily regarding Pennsylvania is in the US. That is one way we can use the preposition in. The other way we can use is how? In the context of the recent elections. When we say in the context of the recent elections, this has come out. This problem has come out. When they say that in is a vishaya, in the vishaya of elections, certain observations, certain experiences have come out. So that way, Vishaya Saptami. So here, what is the Saptami? What is the Saptami here? Karmani akarmaha yah pashyet. In karma, in action, see actionlessness. That is the Vishaya Saptami. So what you see as action is actionlessness. And what you see as actionlessness is actually there's action. There's action there. So this kind of a vision. What do you see as snake is rope. What do you see as, but then when you say snake and rope, there's some kind of a similarity you would say. But let me put it like this. What do you see as a fearful snake, as a scary snake? What scares you is actually, it's a very docile, very neutral, useful rope. So what is causing fear is actually has no source of fear in it. So this way I can put it oppositely. The snake causes fear. Where you see fear, there is no fear. You can say that like that, right? Connecting to karma and akarma. Where you see fear, there's no fear. Because when you see the action, what we perform, as we said, dehadi cheshta, right? And this is all kartru adhinam. The sense, when I do some action is what the body does. You see the activity at the body level, at the mind level. You see the activity at the body level and mind level. So it is Purusha Tantra. You see activity at the body and mind level. Whereas when you take you yourself, in reality, are you performing the action? Suppose you say, no, I am performing action. I see that I am performing action like that. Suppose you say, I see I am performing action. We all do that, right? But what is the problem in that statement? I take myself to be this body, and that action which is happening at the body level, at the mind level, I am doing it. So here the only problem is that body is I. I am only that much of that body is I means what? All the limitations of the body is my limitation. You see the problem there? So which means the deha, we have to understand these activities are happening at the level of the body, mind, senses, happening at the body, mind, senses. I, as a Sakshi, I am illumining my antakarana. Without me, this won't happen. At the same time, I am not actually doing these activities are actually happening at the level of the body mind sense complex. So the only problem, as I told you, when you say I am doing, you are taking yourself to be just this limited body. You are the parichinnata, the sankuchita. You are subjecting yourself to that limitedness, which is not you in reality, right? So that is a problem. So it may look like an innocent statement. I am doing this, but we are analyzing the statement and seeing on inquiry, this doing is happening at the level of body, mind, senses. That much you should be able to agree with me, right? So this much you should be able to agree with me. So in that way, in yourself, in reality, you see akarma. Where there is karma at the level of body, mind, senses, yourself, if the karma which is happening at the body, mind, senses is your karma, then do you want to say that it is your karma, or do you want to say it is a karma at the level of body, mind, senses? Only one choice. You cannot say it is at the level of both. So that means it is more plausible, it is more applicable to say that at the body, mind level senses, this karma is happening. And myself, I am akarta. So you are seeing yourself as akarta, whereas when you say I am karta, then that means the action which are happening at the level of body, mind, senses, you're superimposed, what is superimposed on the body, mind, senses in reality, that you're taking to be yourself. That ignorance, there's a play of ignorance there. So that is the thing which I want to say. So knowing this way, you are more clear. And interesting, let us go to the next interesting thing. How about when I'm not doing anything, I'm quietly sitting? Why would you say that I'm doing some action? So even to sit quietly, if I want to sit here and be able to be focused on this talk, I should be very, I should be, very much trying to be focused is also an action. There are noises, any noise possible at any time. So I should be focused. There may be an internet issue. still I should be focused. So it may look as if this person is sitting and not doing anything. But even for sitting quietly, there is an effort involved. What is that effort? That is called Purusha Tantra. That is called Kartru Tantra. Right? So there's an effort, there's an activity involved in terms of some exertion to even quietly sit. So that is the first reason you cannot say that when there is no activity, you cannot say there is actionlessness. When there is no activity, when there is no deha cheshta, when there is no body shaking and all that, you should not say there is actionlessness. There is actionlessness. That statement you cannot make. That is one thing. And also another problem you see. Even the effort of sitting quietly, that activity, that what you see as not doing any action is also at the level of body, mind, senses, right? And that actionlessness, let us give that word, that actionlessness at the level of body, mind, senses, if you say that I am not doing anything, again you are making the same problem of taking yourself to be this body only and this mind only. I'm only so much, I'm limited. You see how the samsara can start, right? So there is again an error. So the person who is a wise person, he would be able to clearly see that this even keeping quiet and those kind of seeming inactivity, there is activity involved behind that to even sustain that. In addition to that, all these are happening still at the level of deha, and I have been always actionless only. I have been always free from action. And just because the body is not doing any activity, saying that I'm not doing any activity, not saying, I know, I'm just telling, I'm just using the word saying, but on inquiry, we should be clear that myself, I am asangaha akarta atma. That clarity has to come by satsanga and all those things which are going on right now, right? So that clarity has to come. Now, why is that clarity so important? Because as Bhagavan is saying in the same shloka, Sa Buddhiman, he is a wise person. And karma yah pashyet, he is a buddhiman, he is a manisheshu sa yukta hai. And he is a yukta purusha, he is endowed, he is connected to the right knowledge and he is connected to Bhagavan Ishvara in reality. And connected is not the right word. He sees Ishvara as non-separate from himself. Atmiyataya, he is able to understand Ishvara. And he is a kritsna karmakrit. Look, this kritsna karmakrit is a great word, which means what? He has accomplished everything. All the phala, all the results anyone would seek, he has accomplished those. That kind of a great stuti, praise is being made when you have this understanding. So when that is the case, you think our Shankaracharya Maharaj is going to leave this verse like that? So he's going to actually explore, inquire, and further enlighten us using this verse for our own sake. And so the first thing is, as we said, there was a confusion regarding when you say karmani, is it a vishaya saptami or is it a adhikarana saptami? This karmani, is it something like the preposition in? Is it like having a pot on the floor? A pot on the floor. So likewise, do you want me to see akarma on karma and karma on akarma or in akarma? No, it is a vishaya saptami. When in the matter of karma, may you know, in reality, there is akarma. In the subject matter of akarma, in reality, you may you see that, take it as an opportunity to see karma, so you know that you yourself in reality, karma at the level of body, so that you know that in reality you are akarta atma. Again, when you say akarta, the kartritva, the doership is what is going away. You may be still performing action like Bhagavan Sri Krishna, Arjuna, and who not. You may be doing all the great things, but the clarity is there. So the Vishaya Saptami is the first clarity which we need in this shloka. Then the next word is Bodhavyam. As we saw in the previous class, knowing this is a great knowledge. Why? Because because yourself in reality you are akarta atma. There is no kartrutva. You are free from the sense of doership. You perform with freedom. That kind of a you. You perform with the freedom, and the freedom is based on knowing yourself to be akarta. And in your presence, everything, knowing yourself to be akarta, not as an inert object. In your presence, everything is happening. But you are akarta. Without your presence, nothing will happen. This kind of a clear knowledge. So that is why this is a very important knowledge, because it leads to knowing yourself, knowing about clarity about karma and akarma, action and actionlessness is actually clarity about yourself in reality. Okay, Yajñatva, and then you all already saw in the previous few verses we saw, last class, when you know that you are akarta, then you are also abhokta. The karma phala in terms of papa, punya and whatnot, shoka, moha, raga, dvesha, they are also not going to affect you. So that bhoga, the experiencing of all the sorrow of the karma phala is also not going to affect you. And you are that chinmatra, you are still that same consciousness. Not you are an inert person, you are that consciousness without having these problems. Right? So this is why this Bodhavyam also is very important. Having said so much, what else is this important in this verse? The Bodhavyam word is not in this verse, okay? It is in the previous verse, one of the previous verse. So that Bodhavyam is highlighted here because knowing this is what is so important. Then, so ultimately now we can conclude, we can conclude so much that this confusion of not seeing actionlessness in action and not seeing action in actionlessness, in the sense what is happening at the level of body, mind, senses, taking myself to be only so much. I think I am the karta. So this confusion regarding me, akarta, abhokta, chinmatra, atma, taking myself to be a karta, it is equivalent to what? This is a classical problem, like any other classical problem. What is an example of another classical problem in Vedanta? Another classical example is what? Seeing water in the desert. Desert, no water, waterlessness is the quality of desert is there is no water, waterlessness. And you see a huge lake from a distance. You are able to see that lake so huge, you don't see the end of that lake. So you see water where there is waterlessness. So this also the seeing karma where there is akarma becomes in the same category of problem. It is another example. So seeing water in waterlessness is just an example. But seeing karma, seeing action in actionlessness is what? It is our experience. We all know. We are all having that experience every day almost. It is very loka prasiddham. This problem is very common. So it is this common problem. We are taking it up to inquire and resolve for the sake of our own knowledge about our own self. And so that is what the question, somebody can ask the question. Yeah, you are talking about this karma, akarma, see akarma in karma. You can say they both are so opposite. Well, seeing water where there is waterlessness is also very opposite also, right? So likewise, this is possible. This problem is possible. And there's some arguments here. Swami Shankaracharya Maharaj is bringing that up for the sake of our own clarity. One person can still say, look, all these examples are fine, but the whole world knows what is karma and what is akarma. They just think that karma doesn't change and become akarma. There's no way karma can be akarma and akarma can be karma. Then if that is the case, that is why we say aham karomi. This is a very common thing. Everybody says this, aham karomi. Then a beautiful example is given. I would tell this example and then conclude today's session. See, other examples are not working, right? Seeing water where there is no water, seeing fear of snake where there is no fear. So those are very common examples. So Bhashyakara is coming up with a beautiful new example, connected to action only, because this person wants an example which is connected to action. So that example is very, very popular example. What is that example? When we travel in the boat, what do we see? We travel in the boat and then there are trees. It looks as though there is action in the trees. What activities the trees it is apparently doing? The trees are trying to go in the opposite direction. As the boat is going in one direction, we see all the trees doing the karma of going in the opposite direction, right? So in actionlessness, the trees are no activity in the tree, but we see the activity of running, going. So this is a beautiful example, Bhagavan Bhashyakara is saying. And then we have to give you one more example of seeing no activity where there's activity. So where there's action, we are seeing by mistake actionlessness. What is the example for that? Bhashyakara is giving, Shankaracharya Maharaj. Suppose somebody is traveling in it, somebody is walking so far away from you. For a moment or for some time, it will be very hard for you to say if that person is walking or just standing. In fact, we all will make a conclusion that there's a person standing there. But what is he actually doing? He's actually walking, either walking away or walking towards. We won't know until a certain time has passed. So the person who is walking away from at a distance, you won't be able to make out. So where there is action of walking happening, there what we see actionlessness. So this example is a beautiful example, right? So these two examples Bhashyakara is giving, and so likewise in your own Swarupa, Brahmani, Avikriya Brahmani, there cannot be any change in terms of any activity. It is the one changeless, limitless Brahman, and which is your own Swarupa, and in that we are seeing all this change in terms of the activity. So that error is also possible. So with this very relevant example, connecting example, Bhashyakara Bhagavan is continuing to deal with this verse and bring out more information. As I told you today, I will try to make it brief like I did today and bring out what's more relevant in the way I did today. And we'll continue with this shloka for some part of the next session, and we'll keep moving to the next shloka possibly from the next session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harih Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harih Om. Thank you all. May you all have a great, happy, blessed New Year. Swamiji's blessings is always with us, and Dakshinamurti Bhagavan's blessings are always with us. So may you all have a great New Year. Harih Om.